Greetings, welcome to our webinar this evening on Affirmations for Self-Healing, this book by Swami Kriyananda ji. We have a reading each week from this book with the affirmation. My name is Nayaswami Devarshi, Brahmachari Premdas will be sharing also. Let's begin with a prayer. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, Friend, Beloved God, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Lahiri Mahashaya, Swami Sri Yukteswarji, Beloved Guru, Paramahansa Yogananda ji. We bow to all of you. Divine Mother, guide and teach us as your children to give and share with all of our brothers and sisters and to give ourselves to Thee. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Premdas will now read from the book and do the affirmation.
This week's topic is sharing. True happiness is found not in possessions, but in sharing what one has with others. Thus is one's self-identity expanded as he learns to live in and enjoy a greater reality. People who gladly share with others feel themselves bathed by a constant inner stream of happiness. Sharing is the doorway through which the soul escapes the prison of self-preoccupation. It is one of the clearest paths to God. And now we are going to affirm first loudly, then in a medium voice, then in a whisper, and then subconsciously. Please join me. Let's affirm together. What I give to others, I give not away. For in my larger reality, it remains ever mine. I am happy in the happiness of all. Now in medium voice. What I give to others, I give not away. For in my larger reality, it remains ever mine. I am happy in the happiness of all. Now in a whisper, what I give to others, I give not away. For in my larger reality, it remains ever mine. I am happy in the happiness of all. Now subconsciously, what I give to others, I give not away. For in my larger reality, it remains ever mine. I am happy in the happiness of all. Let's pray. O infinite giver, teach me to find happiness through others. Okay, hi friends. So today I'm going to share on the topic sharing. So one of the most important things that came to my mind when I was thinking about this topic sharing is what is the best thing that we can share with others. So now I'm going to take you on a journey, how I realized and how I found answer to this question. What is the best thing that we can share with others? So this was during my college days, during my bachelor's. So I was in a really good class, we were really good friends, and we were like around 35 students there. And the class was really good and very magnetic only because of sharing. So we used to share a lot of things, good things, and We used to like participate in many events. We used to win many trophies in games, and everything was good. I think one example is like, I think during our time in the college, we had celebrated almost everyone's birthday in a good way, and we were trying our best to keep everyone's joy level up even there. So, and now there was one thing that happens in life. Whenever the life strikes, so I used to see during those days, one of my focus was just try to be happy. How do I be happy? By making others happy. But then I started slowly realizing that all people were not being happy with simple things. Even if you gift them or even if you do anything, somehow the desires used to increase. Somehow one day we can be happy, one day we are not happy. So I've started slowly realizing that just by sharing the small gifts was not happening. Then in the meanwhile, I also came to know about this book, Autobiography of a Yogi. Then I also came to know about Ananda Sangha. So now slowly, when Master writes in his book that you can experience all these blissful states in meditation, then I was like, okay, that's the thing I need to be happy. That's the way to go in. So I can even keep doing things outside, but I think this is the best way to go in and find happiness. Then I started attending classes, taking my Kriya initiation, started feeling those states, and whenever I used to feel really good state in my meditation, I used to forget all other problems. So, and then I also started serving there. Then I started finding the answer to my question, what is the best thing to share? I started realizing there is this saying which goes like, it's better to teach a person how to fish rather than give him a fish. Now I'm not talking about food here. I'm speaking about this blissful state of happiness which can remain forever once we learn to hold on to it and once we learn to really dive deep in it. So then I started realizing the best thing that we can share with others is God. So once we start sharing God, then it's all happiness forever. That was a concept which I could not understand back then in college days. And then now I'm going to just share a few words about at this present state, how we are sharing and how by sharing God, we are able to touch so many souls here. We are around 7 monks here living in the Kandala Monastery, and all we do is share God. We try to meditate, first find Him, then once we have His bliss in our hearts, peace in our meditation, daily morning and evening practice, we try to do seva and share the same bliss and joy with all the devotees who are trying to learn meditation. So we have students from all around the world we are able to serve, and I think that's one of the best things that I've come to know, that sharing God. Okay. Thank you, and now I'll request Devarshi ji to share more on the topic, sharing.
Thank you, Premdas. This idea of sharing, Swamiji writes that it is one of the clearest paths to God. And I would say it might even be the clearest path to God. And sharing and giving certainly is a prerequisite. It's one of the required courses in this curriculum that we're given in life. And it's a required course in order to pass and make the final grade of God realization and to really graduate. Because you will see that the ultimate final step, and I'll start at the very highest, in order to merge back into God, God is not going to come and take us away and grab us. God is waiting for us. Yogananda said that God has everything except one thing. God is the universe. God created the universe. God has everything except this one thing that God wants, because God doesn't have, and that is our love. And so in order to win God, we must give our love to God. And you'll find that Divine Mother, God, the Guru, is very responsive to that type of giving. Swami Kriyananda, he called it self-offering, this type of devotion. And meditation practices, techniques, they can take us to the door, and they can help us to knock on that door of merging back into God, and that door can open. But that final step of going through the door, of final divine union, and that type of divine union, which in the end is the only thing that will satisfy us, becoming one with bliss, God is not going to yank us through the door by our hair or by our arms or legs with us kicking and screaming. God is going to wait for us to give ourselves completely and wholeheartedly and walk through that door in a way by giving ourselves completely and freely to God. And so this training that we have in life, a big part of this training is simply learning how to give. Every act of giving to God, as Krishna said in the Gita, even a leaf offered with devotion is pleasing to me. So every act of giving, self-offering, devotion to God, but also to God and others, because it can't just be an abstraction. Divine Mother had all these children, and she wants her children to help each other, to give to each other. And as Premdas was saying, if you want God, if you want joy, if you want love, any of these qualities, we must learn to give these things. And you might think that, how can I give something if I don't have it first? And to some extent that's true. We need to learn to meditate, to awaken these qualities within ourselves. But you'll see something interesting. Those people who are generous are always happy. And you might think, well, they're happy first, and then when they're happy, then they give that happiness, and they share that happiness and joy with others. But in fact, it's the other way around. We have it backwards, or many people do. The reason that these people are happy is because they've learned that the secret to happiness is giving and generosity. So this is, again, a required course, a required attitude in life, is to learn how to give to others. And Premdas made a very good point also, that it's not just giving in a personal way. I mean, that's fine too. We must be kind-hearted with each other. We must just be generous in outward ways and do small kindnesses for each other. But you will find that when you give to others as God in the other person, you will find that it brings your relationships to a much higher level. It brings your giving to a much higher level. Even just simple giving to others, serving them a dish of food, if you can do it with just grace and devotional giving, serving God in that person by giving them a plate of food, rather than just sliding the plate of food across the table, or just feeling that you're giving it in an entirely personal way. But if you give it to God and that other person, you will find two things happen. One, you're able to give to God all day long to everyone, and you start to find that it starts this process of giving to God. It starts to generate momentum in that way. But it also has a side benefit, which is that it starts to awaken the divine in others. And that might be the greatest gift that we can give to anyone, is to awaken the divine in another person. When you think about the great saints and masters, isn't this really the great gift that they've given to all of us? When we think of saints and masters, in fact, we don't think of what they've gotten in life, what they've received and what they've gotten for themselves. We think in terms of how they give and what they've given to us. And this is why Adi Shankara said, one moment in the company of a saint can be your raft across the ocean of delusion. And we've all seen this, I believe, those of us who have sat with saints, and this is most people, I think, that when you're in the company of a saint, you feel uplifted. They gaze at you, and they just, through their magnetism, through their love, through the power of giving, they awaken the divine within us. And they do this very simply, I believe, which is just simply that they see us not as a person or a personality, as a sinner or someone who's not perfect. They see the divine light within us. And when they see that and look for that in us, it awakens that even more within us, and we can start to see it within ourselves. And so this is perhaps the greatest gift that you can give to anybody, is to see and recognize and try to tune into the divine in that person. And so when you give to others, when you serve them, just even in a simple way, when you open the door for someone or do a very simple favor, try to see that you're giving to God. One time, Paramahansa Yoganandaji was with his disciples, and he had problems with his legs. He was taking on the karma of his disciples. He couldn't walk, so they had to carry him. And he was thanking them for carrying him and doing him such a favor. And they just really protested and said, "No, no, Master, you are helping us. What do you mean?" And he just smiled very blissfully. And he said, "God serving God. This is just God serving God." And so when we can go through life serving God and others, feel that it is God flowing through us serving God, which is a strange idea. Why does God need to serve God? I mean, God has everything and is everything. But you will find that this practice is really the greatest one for awakening the divine within us and also awakening the divine in others. And it just starts this channel, this momentum, this flow of giving. And giving really, it's the greatest thing that the masters have taught us, because they are all giving. There's a story that I've shared many times it's a story for all of us, which is, it's about a disciple of Paramahansa Yogananda who visited Ananda village. And she was a Kriya Yogi and meditated, and she was from South America. And she spent some weeks at Ananda village in California. And as she was getting ready to go back to her home, she prayed deeply to Yogananda ji, "Help me to understand how I can do my work when I go back." She had a work that she had to do, and it was hers to do, and it was like a mission that she had. And she really wanted understanding and clarity on how she should be doing this. And I believe my understanding that she thought she needed to know what to do. What should I do next? And what should be the action plan for what I'm going to be doing when I go back? So she prayed to Yogananda ji, "Help me, guide me. What should I do?" And she was staying in a tent in this meadow next to the Expanding Light retreat at Ananda village. And Yogananda came to her. He was standing outside of her tent. He appeared to her. And he advised her on what to do. And his advice was so simple. His advice was one word only. That word is the same advice for all of us when we are trying to understand what we should be doing in our lives, in our work, with our family. That one word, what was it? It was give. Simply that. He was just saying give. And you will find that when we get into this flow of giving and sharing with others, what happens is that this divine intelligence starts flowing through us, and we know what to do. We know what to do next. We start to tune into the needs of others. We start to understand how to help others. And so it's just a process of just getting going with this process of giving. And when we can do it more and more in this divine way that we've been talking about, then it really starts this divine flow, and it starts to awaken intuition. It starts to bless us. As Yogananda ji said, the instrument is blessed by that which flows through it. And in the end, it just brings light into this world, which needs it so badly. And I think we all have a duty in this life to be instruments of that light, to be a light bearer, as Swami Kriyananda described it. And so this is the way, really, of the yogi. It is to give to others, to give to God and others. And you'll find that the other thing that happens when you do this, you forget about yourself. You forget about your suffering. I have found that even, I don't have time to tell the whole story, but I was suffering from a physical intense pain, a malady. It had me in the emergency room, and I was just hunched over in pain, and I just couldn't do anything about it. It was the doctors were taking their time to see me. But then I heard someone who was in much greater need than me, someone who had had a drug overdose and was in a coma, and the girl that was with him who was weeping, and I started praying for them. And almost instantly my pain vanished. It disappeared. And in its place was a great feeling of divine joy. And so when we give to others, even in the midst of our own suffering or pain, you will find that is the way to dissolve that pain and suffering. And two reasons it does that. One, very important, it gets us out of our little self. We no longer are identifying with me, with Choto Devarshi, little Devarshi, this self that's in pain and holding on to this pain and feeling very small. And we start giving to others, and this little self starts to dissolve and expand and become the greater divine self. And when that happens, we start to tune into and feel divine grace, divine joy, and divine freedom. And so think in terms of giving. If you are needy, if you are suffering, if you are in pain, the answer, give. Swami Kriyananda ji, someone wrote him a letter. They were looking for a marriage partner in this case, but his advice was universal to all those who are suffering and in need and are lacking in any area of their life, whether it's love, friendship, resources, happiness, joy. And the way Swamiji said it, he said, to receive love, one must first give love. And he wrote to this person, if you feel unhappy and lifeless, it's because you need to give more of yourself. You want love, of course, everyone does. But love is obtained by learning first to give it. Love God in people and be open and giving to all. In this way, you will develop the magnetism to attract the right partner. And really, whatever we want to attract and whatever we are lacking in our lives, if you are open to all, generous and giving to all, you will start to find that you start to attract all the divine qualities. And we no longer are needy or wanting, because we find that even in that moment of giving, we are free and we are fulfilled. So practice these things this week. As we do the affirmation this week, try to do this affirmation every day. Try to find giving as a practice that you do this week, where every day you actually consciously find a new way to give to others that you have not been giving before. Maybe it's to someone you work with, or a family member, or someone you walk by in the street every day. Try to give to others in a way that is different and new, that you haven't done before, number one. And number two, you're getting homework. You realize this, right? You have homework assignment for the rest of the week. Number two, the people that you are giving to already, family members, the people you're serving, try when you give to them to recognize and realize that it is God in them that you are giving to, and try to feel that it is God flowing through you, that it is God giving to God in those actions and those kindnesses that you do to your family members, to your children, to your brothers and sisters, whoever. So this is your homework this week. Do the affirmation every day and experiment with this practice of giving in new ways, in new attitudes, and in new approaches. So we will now do the affirmation again. And again, I'll read the reading, which is on sharing. True happiness is found not in possessions, but in sharing what one has with others. Thus is one's self-identity expanded as he learns to live in and enjoy a greater reality. People who gladly share with others feel themselves bathed by a constant inner stream of happiness. Sharing is the doorway through which the soul escapes the prison of self-preoccupation. It is one of the clearest paths to God. So we'll now affirm, and we'll do a longer version of this affirmation. We'll affirm it several times in groups of 3. And the first time we'll repeat it loudly to command the full attention of our conscious mind, quietly to absorb the meaning, whispering to carry the meaning deep into our subconscious, silently to deepen our absorption at the subconscious level, and then finally the last time silently, again with rising aspiration, offering it and repeating it here at the Christ Center. So repeat after me. The first few times we'll do this loudly to command our attention. What I give to others, I give not away. For in my larger reality, it remains ever mine. I am happy in the happiness of all. Again, loudly, what I give to others, I give not away. For in my larger reality, it remains ever mine. I am happy in the happiness of all. One more time, loudly, what I give to others, I give not away. For in my larger reality, it remains ever mine. I am happy in the happiness of all. Now quietly, to absorb the meaning more deeply, what I give to others, I give not away. For in my larger reality, it remains ever mine. I am happy in the happiness of all. What I give to others, I give not away. For in my larger reality, it remains ever mine. I am happy in the happiness of all. What I give to others, I give not away. For in my larger reality, it remains ever mine. I am happy in the happiness of all. Now whispering, carrying the meaning into our subconscious. What I give to others, I give not away. For in my larger reality, it remains ever mine. I am happy in the happiness of all. What I give to others, I give not away. For in my larger reality, it remains ever mine. I am happy in the happiness of all. And now silently only, to deepen your absorption of this idea at the subconscious level. What I give to others, I give not away. For in my larger reality, it remains ever mine. I am happy in the happiness of all. Continuing silently, what I give to others, I give not away. For in my larger reality, it remains ever mine. I am happy in the happiness of all. And now with rising aspiration, as Swamiji puts it, repeating it silently at the Christ Center or the Kutastha Chaitanya. What I give to others, I give not away. For in my larger reality, it remains ever mine. I am happy in the happiness of all. What I give to others, I give not away. For in my larger reality, it remains ever mine. I am happy in the happiness of all. And now repeat it one final time mentally with me as I go through it straight through. What I give to others, I give not away. For in my larger reality, it remains ever mine. I am happy in the happiness of all. And then just listen to this prayer. O infinite giver, teach me to find happiness through others. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And we invite you to join us next week. Remember, you have homework to do this week, repeating this affirmation and making a practice of giving and sharing this week. Next week's topic will be work. Joy to you and many blessings to you.